That's right. Back at it again. Full custom hot dog bay. B. And today we're going to be doing another movie review. That's right. That's right. And today we're going to be talking about Pearl. From 2022, directed by Ti West. I wasn't too sure what to expect with this movie, but I am pleased it's as good as the trailer. I think it had a banging trailer. Also, if you watch the Kinonomicon, the show I do with Nasser Abadi and Mark Pellegrini, we do that on Tuesdays on Nasser Abadi's channel, you might have seen me rant and rave about X and how much I hated it. The movie I saw recently, whose pacing I didn't like, and I realized it only cemented that I don't care for any of this director's movies, is X from fucking Ti West. This motherfucker, imagine like a huge plate. You know in movies where they're like, we're going to eat at this fancy restaurant. It's always this big plate with a tiny bit of food is always the bit that it's a bit of food. That's a Ti West movie. There's this big fucking plate. The food, the main is tiny, is not even an ice cream scoop of food. And that's the very end of the movie. I didn't like X. I don't know why people love X. They love it. They don't just like it. They love that movie. They adore that movie. And it just didn't do anything for me. I thought it was boring. I'll probably play the clip in here somewhere. And I don't even normally like any of Ti West stuff for the same reason every time. I think they're too slow. It's not to say, if you watch my channel, you know I'm okay with the slow burn. I appreciate and enjoy slow burns. I think the secret to a good slow burn is when you're giving crumbs out so the audience is kind of hooked and involved, and it always feels like Ti West is almost doing this little slice of life thing with these people just doing something, and then at the end is where it gets bonkers. I've even considered doing a series of like why I hate Ti West movies or something, but I didn't want it to come off as an attack. I want it to seem like, you know, I'm breaking down what I don't like, and then people could chime in and go, well, hot dog, if you notice, this is this, and that's that, and that's why this is good. I'd never say Ti West movies are bad. I just think they're very slow. And so far, I don't know if I've seen any that are for me. Going through the House of the Devil, didn't care for it. That end, though, that last 15 minutes or so was great. Innkeepers, I remember being bored, and I didn't end up caring for that too much. But Pearl had a great trailer, and so people were surprised that I was actually kind of excited to see Pearl. They knew I didn't like X. They know I don't like Ti West, and here I am saying, hey, I'm excited for this movie. I think if you know me, it's easy to see why, because it absolutely looks crazy. It's like a Technicolor acid dream, and that's sort of what it was. The whole idea of the Pearl character in X is just like, hey, I'm a horny old lady, and I'm gonna kill people who won't fuck me.
I know what I've done.
And that's kind of a neat idea, I guess. I suppose I wish that got kickstarted sooner. That's my whole issue with X, is that doesn't really come into play till later. We just kind of see her deal with her loneliness and being just old, and then just kind of going off the rails towards the end. But what's great about Pearl is Mia Goth is playing the young version of that character. And now I love that character. I went from thinking that character is a neat idea, a horny, old, crazy lady. And now we've got this young, vibrant, kind of animated. She feels like a real-life cartoon character that's just wrapped up in the bullshit of her life and is just completely unhinged. But there's something that feels very jaunty and happy about her, even though she sort of hates everything around her. And of course, she snaps, goes on killing sprees, etc. But damn, is it fun to watch. The colors really pop here. It's going for that Technicolor feel. I know one of the films they wanted to kind of reference was Wizard of Oz, and it definitely has a lot of that old cinema vibe to it at times, which works very well, and of course along with new types of violence. The pacing was great here. I felt there was a lot to attach yourself to, and I wish and hope that we get more Pearl movies at some point, because I would watch those instantly, because she's such a cool character. Maybe one of my favorite horror characters in the post-2020s. She's right up there with Gabriel from Malignant for me as another character I loved. Pearl was absolutely enjoyable. If you don't know what it's about, like I mentioned before, Pearl is a prequel to X. In 1918, she's a young woman living with her German immigrant parents on their Texas homestead, and her husband, who we do see in X, is serving in World War I. Now, her father's paralyzed. Her mom is crazy, sucky. She's just really mad and pissed and doing chores, and things got to be hard for her too. They're living on the farm. There's no internet, and they've got to cut their own pigs up and all that shit. And there's also a flu. Now, obviously, there's some parallels between this Spanish flu going around and COVID. I believe this was done or being written around the time of COVID. So that's kind of not surprising. And it doesn't feel ham-fisted, so I'm okay with it. Some people might kind of roll their eyes at it, and I can understand that. But for me, that felt pretty okay. So she starts to dream about leaving the farm and gets roped into doing a dance contest with her sister-in-law. And we're pretty much in her head the whole time on this journey of wanting to get off the farm. And things go from bad to worse to even more worse, with an ending that I've heard some people say wasn't fulfilling, but I think it's fine. I think it works in a weird black comedy sort of way. This movie doesn't take itself too seriously, which I think works very well in its favor. It's very much a black comedy, and it's fun. It's a very odd horror ride that I don't know if we've seen anything quite like it. It's that whole Technicolor dream of, like I mentioned earlier, Wizard of Oz interwoven with this weird period piece, and then a pseudo slasher on top of it while she's just becoming completely unglued, and it all works. It's all a fantastic movie. After I saw X, I know a lot of people liked it, but I don't know who I could have ever recommended X to, but Pearl is one that I would tell people, yeah, check it out. It's very fun, especially if you're into things that are just odd and bizarre. This one definitely sticks out very well in terms of being so different from the things I've seen Ti West normally do. I really hope I can get more of this. I don't know how I feel about Maxine coming out. My excitement will be dependent on the trailer. And while I didn't watch the Pearl trailer completely, seeing the clips that I've seen, the weird scarecrow stuff, the odd dance numbers, that alone made me want to see it. So I'm hoping Maxine is something cool, something different. I don't want any more X. It's kind of a bummer too, thinking about this movie, right? Like, this movie wouldn't have been able to exist without X, I feel like. I don't think a studio would have necessarily greenlit this odd period piece Technicolor slasher thing, but it was A24. So maybe, but the idea feels so far out, I just can't imagine people being like, yeah, go ahead and do it without something else to base it off of. It doesn't need X. I've seen some people say, oh, you should watch X first. You really don't need to, as this takes place 40 years earlier or something. I don't know. I'm not really a math guy. I'm sure somebody will correct me on that. But it's a total blast that I really hope more people see. The theater when I went was pretty packed. And, man, I'm just hoping it does well. I think it's going to. If you didn't know, Maxine's already been greenlit. There's a teaser trailer out. I'm going to be curious to see what that is. And it's kind of crazy, too. 2022 has been a good year for horror. I've thought about doing just a quick wrap-up stream of some of the things I've seen this year and just quick takes and whatnot. I didn't see a ton of stuff, but I've seen a lot of the good stuff that's coming to the theater. Barbarian, Nope. Those two alone, very good. I know some people are probably rolling their eyes at Nope, but gonna ask you this: have you seen it yet before you roll your eyes about it? Because that one really surprised me. Was not what I normally expect. So maybe I'll do a quick little roundup video there. I've been collecting vinyl records. I don't know if you follow me on some of the social media to see what I'm up to, but that's been kind of a thing. Not too many Blu-rays, just stuff that I know I want, and vinyl in the meantime, which was something you've probably heard me here say I never want to get into, but here I am collecting vinyl. But I digress. I'm way off track. If you're watching this and I've been able to get this out before Tuesday the 20th, we are doing a stream on Nasser's channel. It is with me, Nasser Abadi, Mark Pellegrini, like I mentioned earlier. Nasser and I put $10 down to see if Mark would like X. Now, I bet that Mark wouldn't like X. Nasser believes Mark would like X, and I don't know why he would do that. That doesn't make any sense to me, but that's how strongly he felt about Mark's enjoyment. And Tuesday we're going to find out if he likes it or not. So tune in if you want to see what Mark Pellegrini thinks about X, and if you want to see me become $10 richer right in front of your eyes. Definitely tune in. But anyways, Pearl, easy recommend. Check it out. It's totally fun, and I don't think there's a whole lot like it. Not unless they made some crazy slasher in the 50s or something. Then they've done this before. But this is a nice way to I think break the mold here, and this is something really cool. So check it out. It's your boy, Full Custom Hot Dog. And you can always, of course, follow me on Twitter. It's Full Custom Hot Dog without the last O. Thank you for watching, and until next time. If you like what you see,
I love what I see.
make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you can watch whatever comes next. And if you like the music you hear, you can follow me on SoundCloud and Spotify. Check the description for links.